Hi, I'm Chris, and in this biology lesson we're going to take a look at the relationship between insulin and glucagon. So these are two hormones that we have in the body that help control blood sugar. And basically what happens is that insulin, which for our color coding purposes here will be in blue, insulin is responsible for putting glucose into storage so that we can use it when we need it. Glucagon is responsible for breaking down that storage so that when we haven't eaten for a while, we're able to take the glucose that we've previously stored and break it down to utilize for energy and for cellular metabolism. So let's take a look at how these two levels relate to each other. And these are two hormones that work together to help regulate blood sugar levels. So when one of them goes up in concentration in the body, the other will go down accordingly, and we'll see how that works here. So on our axes for this graph, we're going to look at our levels of insulin and glucagon along the vertical, but the horizontal here, it says time since lunch. And it doesn't have to be lunch, it could be breakfast, it could be dinner, it could be any sort of meal or snack. But basically, we're going to start taking a look at what happens from this point, which is when we eat a meal. So as we eat a meal and we have high intake of glucose, our body says, okay, we have plenty of glucose present, more than what we need at the moment, so we're going to need to put some of that into storage, which means that our insulin levels are going to begin to climb. So as we're eating, our insulin levels go up so that we can put that excess glucose that we are intaking during the meal into storage. Now once it's been a while since we've eaten, so as time goes on, those insulin levels then begin to fall because over time, our body says to ourselves, okay, we no longer need to store glucose. Now we need to be able to start breaking it down so that we can utilize it. It's been a while since lunch, and when it's been a long time since lunch, our insulin levels begin to drop so that we are able to then break down that storage to utilize the glucose. Glucagon works in the opposite direction. Glucagon levels, which are responsible for breaking down the glucose that we have in storage so we can use up that sugar, glucagon levels drop as we're eating a meal. So what the body is telling ourselves during this phase is we have a high intake of glucose coming in as we're eating our sandwich or our cookies or our cake or our chips, whatever that food might be. The high level of glucose coming in lets our body know that we don't need high levels of glucagon. We can lower those glucagon levels because right now we don't want to break down that glucose and utilize it. We already have too much, so we want to put some away into storage for later. So those glucagon levels will decrease, and then they will begin to increase when it has been a long time since lunch. So since you last ate, as time elapses, the glucagon levels will begin to increase eventually so that the body is able to break down the glucose that it has in storage so that it can utilize it for cellular metabolism, muscular function, and things of that nature. And as further and further time passes since our last meal, we'll see glucagon levels continue to rise and insulin levels continue to drop until our next meal, at which time we will notice, if we have another meal here, that we'll see these levels invert again. And that wave-like function will continue over time so that we see both of these hormones are working together in order to help regulate our blood sugar in an appropriate range for us to maximize our efficiency and our cellular metabolism, energy production. If you have more questions, please feel free to take a look at some of our other videos or visit our website at sandersontestprep.com. Thanks for watching.